And now we're going to talk to Polly about what's inside her manual turned memoir, this wonderful book that she's written that's an inspiration to all of us, especially those of us interested in sexuality and education and sexual culture. So tell us a little bit more about what's inside the book and titillate us.
Okay, well, you know, a lot of people don't know what to expect when they read the book. They think it's going to be erotica, or they think it's going to be all about my relationships and Kinky Salon and the people at Kinky Salon, but it's really not. It's more about my personal process. Mm-hmm. In a way, it's a story set in 3 parts, which is my childhood and where I come from, and kind of a sad story, a lot of teenage kind of trauma and difficulties, and then how I ended up leaving there and moving to San Francisco and what the impetus was for that move. And then more of like kind of a spiritual awakening where I really have all of these revelations about my life, about sexuality, and about what I'm doing. And it kind of ends with an It's a Wonderful Life moment. I've been calling it It's a Wonderful Life for Perverts.
Perfect. Perfect.
And so, it's got all of that in it. And it does have some saucy stories in it too, because obviously, you know, as a person who throws sex parties for a living, I've had some pretty racy experiences that I talk about in the book, but that's not all it is.
Yeah, so I really love the way you actually situate the book in the historical context around the sexual revolution of San Francisco. San Francisco being a kind of mecca of sexual revolutionaries over the years, and how you were a little naive around that initially, and you're, you know, sort of this confessional part of you is really fascinating to me, because you're able to actually reflect and look back on, oh, I didn't know exactly what I was doing then, but look at what I'm doing with that now. And that seems really fundamental to contextualizing the sexual revolution and the history of San Francisco within that.
So yeah, I actually had Robert Lawrence from the Center for Sex and Culture write the introduction at the beginning of the book so that I could really establish where San Francisco was, because he's been here and been part of sex culture for, you know, many, many years. And so I wanted to really give that sense of history and really ground Kinky Salon, not just in its own kind of experience, but also with this really important lineage that's come before us, mm-hmm. that gets us where we are today.
And I'll say personally that in addition to it being an inspiration just overall around sex culture, and also a great inspiration for people who want to create kinky salons around the world, for me it was also a personal inspiration to finally, my friends have been trying to get me to write my own memoirs. And I thought, wow, this is so honest, and I, you know, I have stories that are really honest too. But it's scary to put yourself out there, especially when you're kind of already semi-public. So I just want to say you're a great inspiration, and I admire you for that.
Thank you, Eve. You know, you're not the first person to say that reading my memoir has inspired them to want to start their own memoir. So I'm really honored that so many people are saying that. It makes me feel like I've done a good job.
Mm-hmm. So now we get to talk to Polly a little bit more around her vision. What's to come with the sex culture revolutionary?